Picture yourself cruising down the highway. The ride feels effortless, completely stable, and totally in control. That stability is actually a trick of physics. At higher speeds, your motorcycle creates momentum. It's like having a pair of invisible training wheels that constantly push the bike forward and force it to stay perfectly upright all on its own. But try to pull into a flat parking space or make a slow, tight turn at a stoplight, and you will suddenly wobble. You find yourself fighting the handlebars just to stay upright, and your foot shoots out to catch the weight of the bike before it falls. As soon as your speedometer drops below 5 miles per hour, that helpful momentum vanishes. Gravity takes over. Your motorcycle suddenly feels twice as heavy, dragging you down in what riders call the parking lot phantom. Since you can't rely on speed to keep you upright anymore, you have to create that balance manually. You do this by mastering a 3-step technique we call the slow speed waltz. The foundational rule of steering is that your bike will always travel exactly where your eyes are pointing. Most beginners make the same mistake when they get nervous. They stare straight down at the ground or lock their eyes on the very cone they are trying to avoid. Because they're looking at the obstacle, they steer right into it. The first step of the waltz is the owl turn. You keep your head perfectly level and physically turn your chin all the way over to your shoulder, looking as far as possible toward the spot where you want the turn to end. Turning your head this way creates a physical chain reaction. It naturally forces your shoulders and hands to pivot, which guides the front tire along the arc of the turn automatically. At low speeds, your vision is your primary steering wheel. Pointing your eyes at your destination is the only way to guarantee the bike follows you there. Now you need power to move, but simply twisting the throttle at walking speed is dangerous. It makes the bike jerk forward, which induces panic and ruins your balance. You solve this by finding the friction zone in your clutch lever, that middle ground where the engine is just barely starting to grab, but hasn't fully engaged yet. By holding the clutch halfway, you filter the engine's raw energy into a smooth trickle of power. Dragging the rear brake pedal stabilizes the bike further. These competing forces, the engine pushing forward and the brake pulling back, pull the suspension taut, creating immense stability. This power trickle replaces the missing momentum. It allows you to maintain perfect upright stability without needing to go fast. When you're riding fast, you naturally safely lean your body into a curve to help the bike turn. But if you try to lean with the bike during a 5-mile-per-hour turn, gravity will instantly pull the machine down to the pavement. The final step is the counter lean. As you push the bike down into the turn, you physically shift your own weight to the outside foot peg. This is exactly like a sailor standing on the far edge of a sailboat to prevent the wind from tipping the boat over. By acting as a deliberate counterweight, you trick gravity. This balance lets the motorcycle carve a sharp turn without ever tipping over. This diagram shows the ultimate proving ground, the 20-foot U-turn box, which is a required maneuver for most official motorcycle licenses. Watch the first step in action. As the rider enters the turn, they snap their head like an owl to lock their eyes on the exit point. Next, they find the friction zone, feeding that steady trickle of power while dragging the rear brake to keep the bike stable. As the handlebars turn fully, the rider counterleans their torso to the outside edge, balancing the heavy bike through the sharpest part of the turn. Using these 3 essential steps together makes a heavy 400-pound machine feel completely weightless and look incredibly graceful. Slow speed control is a technical skill that anyone can learn with a little practice in an empty parking lot.